Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And here I'm back in my childhood neighborhood of Marlborough Park. I figure the place that I'll start will be right here on Madigan Plaza, corner of Memorial Drive and Madigan Drive Northeast. That's where I got off the bus. And this mini mall right here, or strip mall I should say, definitely has changed a lot over the years. Couple businesses that are still here that have always been here that I remember. Well, you can see the one sign, the Atlas Pizza. Also right here you got the Husky. Now it's called the Circle K, but that used to be the Mac store. I remember that always being here. And the Dairy Queen. The Dairy Queen is still here. And one interesting story I have with this mini mall, or strip mall I should say, that there's no references to it or nothing I could find. Actually, when I got off the bus to take a pit stop and went inside the Dairy Queen, it's not there anymore. They've updated the interior. But back in 1990, I believe it was 1990, I remember it happened during my James Short days. You can look at my school videos, but this whole mini mall burnt down. Yes, burnt down. I remember this hall here on the bus. During my James Short days, this was all burnt down. So this whole strip mall here in Marlborough Park got rebuilt. And a couple businesses that always have been here, well, you're looking at the Dollarama right here. That used to be the Shoppers Drug Mart for years, and I understand they've moved to the Eastport Centre, so eventually I'll make my way there. But I remember this was all burnt down. I think it started back here. Not too sure if it was arson or mechanical, but this whole strip mall burnt down, and they were trying to save the Shoppers Drug Mart at the time, and they couldn't. And ultimately the Shoppers Drug Mart right here got rebuilt where the Dollarama is now. But inside the Dairy Queen that I was looking for, that is gone. That they had a clipping of the, the fire, and then I remember they had a clipping of like the first customers that have returned. That's long gone. But I do remember back in 1990, around there, this all was burnt down. And then the other business that is still here is Atlas Pizza. You can see the Atlas Pizza right here. I think other than the Dairy Queen, Atlas Pizza and this gas station, this is all different. I remember there used to be a video store here. I think there used to be another dollar store around here. Of course, there's always a liquor store, and there's definitely a lot of liquor stores in Marlborough Park in the corners of the community. But yeah, I just remember this being rebuilt. I mean, the whole facade in that has changed. I mean, obviously because of the fire. But yeah, this just started off my neighborhood vlog of Marlborough Park. This is the Madigan Plaza on the corner of Memorial Drive and Madigan Drive Northeast, right near the Pembroke Terminal where I go off the number 1, where it goes into Pembroke Drive. This is near James Short Memorial School, where I spent 3 years of my educational journey. But yeah, this is the Madigan Plaza right now in 2021. It's definitely not recognizable, but I do remember the fire, and I can't find anything anywhere that references it happened. But it did happen. Trust me. If you remember the fire, comment below. But I'm going to continue working my way around Marlborough Park as I'm doing a neighborhood vlog of my old childhood neighborhood. So I'll see you else. Well, I'm back to on the corner of Memorial Drive and 68th Street, and don't know what the official name of this strip mall is. But one thing I always remember with this strip mall right here is where you see the food convenience store. I remember Red Rooster. There used to be a Red Rooster here, and I think that rekindled my memories of there being a Red Rooster here. Is, well, the inspiration of my Remember the Calgary series, See a Dead Clothing. They actually had some clothing of the Red Rooster. That's all it is. It's a simple logo with the Red Rooster. But other than that, I mean, this strip mall right here in the corner of Memorial and 68th Street, which is kind of the far east, southeast corner of Marlborough Park in my neighborhood community where I grew up, that always had this Fiesta facade. But I always remember, well, of course, there's another liquor store here. There's definitely, I remember even growing up thinking of all the strip malls that were right in the corners of my neighbor. It's like, man, there is a lot of liquor stores here. I don't know what's that implying about living here, but in this part of the city. I mean, my heart's always here in the northeast, but I always remember a liquor store here. And I remember the daycare always still being there in that corner. But I always remember a Red Rooster being right here where the convenience store is. It's definitely long gone. I'm not too sure what happened to Red Rooster, but it's just another relics in the past. And then this Fiesta restaurant, I guess it's fitting for this whole facade here, but that's all I have to remember for this strip mall right here on the corner of 68th Street and Memorial Drive. I mean, down here, this is where you got Pembroke Meadows, and around here, this is where it's Monterey Park and Abbeydale area. But Memorial Drive actually ends down here. The same Memorial Drive that eventually goes through downtown and the heart of the city. But yeah, this is all I have for this strip mall right here. I don't remember the name of it. If you know, comment below. But I don't think it really had a name. This sign says all the businesses are here, but it doesn't have a name. Not like the Madigan Plaza or Eastport Centre or the Trans-Canada Centre, which I'm still going to visit there. But I just remembered the Red Rooster being right here. It was just one of those special convenience stores in the past that's all around. And check out See a Dead Clothing. They had some Red Rooster merchandise, the simple Red Rooster logo. So I'll see you another part of my neighborhood of Marlborough Park, where this will always be my childhood neighborhood right here in northeast Calgary. So I'll see you there. Well, I'm walking east along Memorial Drive, approaching back to Madigan Plaza. You can see the sign right here where it says Egbert Drive and Madigan Drive. Well, you can kind of zoom in closely. This is the best view you can get of the skyline, but from this view, it's a little hazy right now with the wildfire smoke nearby and the recent heat wave. You can see, let's point out, right there, yes, the Calgary Tower. I always say the most iconic building in the Calgary skyline. You get the view of the Calgary Tower right here in Marlborough Park. And you can see the Bow Building and a little bit of the Telus Sky, but that's the zoom-in view. I got a few pictures of it, but I know that when I'm up in the Calgary Tower, you do kind of get some landmarks in the neighborhood that I always going to call my childhood neighborhood at home in here in Marlborough Park. But yeah, you get the Calgary Tower, and I think when I get closer to where the block that I grew up on, and there's the St. Mark's Church, which I'll get there when I get there. I know that there's times that I'm in the Calgary Tower, you get the view of the St. Mark's Church. It's a very big Catholic church that sticks out. But I think there's times I'm up there that you get a picture of the St. Mark's Church if I'm able to get my extend zoom. But yeah, from this view right here, if you zoom in, you get the most iconic building in the Calgary skyline, the Calgary Tower right here. It's one of the few places in Marlborough Park that you're able to get it, and the sky is not the best conditions, but I just had to stop and do a video clip right here, so I'm going to continue doing some more vlogging in my childhood neighborhood of Marlborough Park. Well, I'm back. This is the Marlborough Park Community Center. As you can see, we're standing right in front of. This is, you could say, this is the heart of Marlborough Park, the neighborhood I grew up in. Right behind is the, you know, where the pathway and the dry pond is. But I do have some memories inside this building right in front of me. I know that I do remember being here when it opened. I think it was around 1987, I believe, when this building opened up. I mean, I do remember being inside, 5-year-old me, being, oblivious to what's going on. I remember a new smell of the building wearing off. I do also believe I had play school in here before I went to Sinalta. I know my sister also had some play school in here where she went to kindergarten. But I know the biggest events that I always remember in here was, well, we had a couple family events in here, actually both in 1995. As in 1995, end of June, we actually celebrated my grandparents on my dad's side, their 50th anniversary. So we had that first back in 1995. But then later that year in October, I do remember we had another celebration for my grandfather, but this time on my mother's side, retiring from his job at the CB Rail. So definitely had a couple family events that happened in here, both in 1995. I do remember taking some courses in here nearby, and I also remember, I know that one big thing that was in my teenager years, but I didn't go to as many just because if you go back to my school videos, I didn't know anyone growing up, but there were some jelly bean dances. I definitely went to one here. I remember, I think it was called a jelly bean dance. I think, it's a dance, I think it was teenagers or pre-teens, and I think there was a prize where you guessed how many jelly beans are in the jar. I think that's how it is. It was just a, social event, but I don't remember doing too many other social events there after the mid 1990s. Once you got older, I think jelly bean dance was only up until 12, 13 years old. But I also know that my mother had a friend that doesn't live here right now. I believe they're from Winnipeg. He was the president of this community center, so I definitely remember that. And of course, this is right side where I went to junior high at Dr. Egbert. I think there were some odd times that we had gym class in the gymnasium in this building as well. But yeah, I definitely do have some memories. Had a couple family events that occurred in this building that we rented out the hall. I think some people that I know eventually, I think they had their wedding ceremony or reception in here as well. I mean, nothing, it'd be a shock if I ever get married, but that's all I have for looking at the community center right here. We're in Marlborough Park. That definitely had a couple family events in here and some other personal events. I do remember being in here when it first opened, and I believe it was 1987. Just being oblivious at the time what was the celebration, but I was 5 years old at the time, forgive me, as I say. So I'll just continue on doing some more vlogging in the neighborhood, go to other spots in the neighborhood that I've already mentioned. But this is the community center. I'll probably walk around in the pathway and catch some video footage in the heart of Marlborough Park, right behind this community center. Well, I'm back. I'm actually on top of the hill around the dry pond, right beyond the community center of Marlborough Park. As you can see, the community center to the left there, and then to the right, here's my junior high school at Dr. Egbert. And I forgot to mention, I did put a text in the school for Dr. Egbert that actually was named after a musician. But see around here, this is kind of the heart of Marlborough Park. I mean, this is the top of that hill there, which is definitely popular for sledding in the wintertime, and also riding a bike down here. I've definitely done that a lot. I rode my bike around in the neighborhood, and this part a lot when I was much younger, and I had time to do that, which I don't anymore. But spin around that. You can see this is Georgian Villa, the residential. It's all condos there. I remember back in 2009 when I was moving out of my childhood home, I did want to stay in the Northeast. I did remember actually looking at a townhouse that my realtor gave me. It was right at George Villa, but it was right facing towards Madigan Drive near Cappy Smart School, which I made that video separately because I did spend 1 year there. But you can see, yeah, this is the heart of the Marlborough Park where the pathway is. And actually, we did have a downpour of rain last night after the the heat wave, which now it's a lot cooler, thankfully, is it's not 36 degrees, and that definitely was too hot. But there is times that we've had bad downpours that you could see this dry pond here. It looks a little muddier compared to when I was here a couple weeks ago when I did my Cappy Smart and Dr. Egbert vlogs, to look back when I went to school there. But there was times that you could see this was like a temporary lake, hence the name dry pond. But you could see it definitely wasn't bad enough. I know that during the thunderstorm that apparently in Marlborough on 36th Street, apparently it was flooded. The street was temporarily flooded, and as well as Marlborough Mall, which was temporarily closed. And I remember seeing whoa, look at this, all these crows are all suddenly flying around as I'm taking this vlog. It's beauty of vlogging on the go. But going back to the Marlborough and the flood there, that apparently the station was closed, Marlborough Station. This is Marlborough Park, to not be confused, which how they border the neighborhoods in Calgary is it bordered between 52nd Street, 68th Street, and 16th Avenue Northeast, which is the Trans-Canada Highway and Memorial Drive to the south. I have an idea of where I've been based on my vlogging. I still got a couple more spots to go before I actually do have a family event that I'm going to later tonight, which prompted me to do a vlogging on the go. But speaking of schools, well, behind here, right here, if you pan around, well, you got Roland Michener School, which is another elementary school that is in this neighborhood. And behind the trees here, if you're in the Catholic School Board, that's St. Martha's School. So you definitely have a lot of schools around in this area. And I mean, as I mentioned, I went to Cappy Smart for the 1 year after going through my unique journey with a learning disability. But then there was also more condos right here, Madigan Plaza, which I remember looking at a place there that I liked. And then there was Madigan Village, which is near the strip mall where I started off this vlog. There were a couple places there that I did actually, when I first moved out of my parents' place, I did want to stay in the Northeast at the time. Back in 2009, obviously, me in 2009 and me in 2021 is a lot different, and I still had my car at the time. And just as time goes on, as I say, my heart is always here. This is where I spent my time growing up. This is the part of the city that I grew up in. My heart's always here, but obviously my life isn't anymore, because even now when I commute out to like going to any family events or out in the Northeast, it does take an hour, and I'd rather spend much longer time to get to family events than, let's say, to the game or anything else that matters to me in the city. But I did actually want to stay in the Northeast, and I did. But I lived in Pine Ridge, which is north of 16th Avenue, just north of here. But there was a few places that I almost looked at, that I almost stayed right here in Marlborough Park for my first place of my own. And ideally, I did actually want to live in Marlborough at that time when I was moving in 2009 to be closer to the LRT, but there was no condo, and I was in the condo market because that's all I could afford, and I have the lifestyle for a condo. I don't want to worry about maintenance and all that. But this I wound up staying in Northeast, but living in Pine Ridge. But then, you know, as you change, your needs change, get rid of the car, which I've been carless for 10 years, so I definitely needed to be a little closer to everything, and ultimately I am now when I moved in 2015. But one last thing to mention that I also remember growing up here, which I hear is still used, but not as much, that this area transforms kind of into winter wonderland in the wintertime, that you could potentially go out here skating. I do remember one time, I know when my parents either, you know, went out and had a babysitter, we had a babysitter of the neighborhood, that one time she brought us down here to go skating. I definitely didn't like skating, but I just remember in the early 1990s, I remember all this area was lit up, and you had people skating out here. Like, this was an open public. I hear they still use it, but not as much now. But I guess it all depends on the season and that. But yeah, you can flood this and have skating rink out here. Heck, maybe potentially, you know, it would be it would never happen. But heck, the NHL can have an outdoor game here. Wouldn't that be something? Maybe I'll do that if I was commissioner. I'd have an outdoor game here, just right here, just for the thing. Why not? Have the Flames and Oilers play out here. Why not? If I was commissioner for the day, that'd be the reason, because I'm commissioner. But yeah, that's all I have for, you know, this part of Marlborough Park. This is the heart of the community. Oh, hey, I think I see a border collie over there. Maybe I'll have to confirm that. But yeah, I grew up with a border collie, but I was too young to, you know, walk the dog out here. But if I was a little older, maybe I would have done that. But I still got a couple more places to check out in Marlborough Park and reminisce. And there's some parts of the community that looks the same, but there's other parts that looks a lot different, especially in the commercial parts of the community. So this is the dry pond. This is the heart of the community of this vlog. So I'll keep my way going and get myself ready to go to a few more places like the Eastport Centre, Trans-Canada Centre, and look at the St. Mark's Church, and then meet up with my family where I grew up. I'm not going to share that in the video exactly where I grew up, but that's why I'm here anyway. Just this prompted me to do that, so I'll see you. Well, here I am at the Eastport Centre, right near 52nd Street, just north of Memorial Drive. This is one strip mall that I definitely saw a lot growing up. It's definitely changed a lot. As you can see right here, there's the Shoppers Drug Mart. That's where the Shoppers Drug Mart moved from the Madigan Plaza to be here. I remember where the Shoppers is right now. I remember Food City used to be there, and then Bilo Foods. So now Shoppers occupies this anchor right here. But other than that, looking around, other than the Little Caesars right there, this is all different. I remember, yeah, there used to be a pharmacy there. I know that in the middle there, that's gone. I remember there used to be a Chelsea's pub I'm not sure how long they've been gone for. And then I also remember the dental center. It's where I remember the vet used to be there. That's where we took Titan to take care of him. And then where this Asian market is right now, that's where the CIBC used to be. And now they're gone. That CIBC actually moved to the East Hills, which is near 17th Avenue, 100th Street Southeast. That's definitely way in the far east end of the city. But I also do remember around here there used to be an ice cream shop that I liked growing up. I mean, the only thing that kind of looks the same is these light fixtures. Had that, but the other thing that's also different is the Jiffy Lube here. I remember that used to be a Shell, but the biggest change is right here. I mean, you got this another mini strip mall. Of course, in our liquor store, there's a McKinnis and Holloway funeral home and the Burger King. Right here, I know this Burger King has been here since the late 1990s, but I remember this whole area right here. I remember about here, there used to be a hardware store called Revelstoke. It used to be called Revelstoke, that now changed to Rennie or Brevi, and then Torona, which now Lowe's has bought. So there used to be a hardware store right here that obviously is long gone. That's now been replaced with the McKinnis and Holloway funeral home and this mill strip mall with the liquor store. Of course, the liquor store is the only thing that still remains. I remember various businesses. There used to be a registry there, and I remember a video update there when back when, you used to do this thing called go to video store to rent movies and video games. I remember doing that when I had more time to play video games. But this is the Eastport Centre. This is definitely the strip mall that I've seen a lot growing up, because I'm closer to the Trans-Canada Centre, because I'm on the the furthest west part of Marlborough Park, 52nd Street, which separates to Marlborough, not to be confused with Marlborough Park. There's a clever name right there. You break it, I fix. Or you break, I fix. I think that must be a mobile place, but yeah, this whole area has changed. I mean, you could see the sign there when this whole strip mall here was being redeveloped. You had that same style with that we see in the sign. You kind of still see that with the Burger King today. I mean, this was the best place that I found to be able to, and now yeah, this strip mall has that kind of yellow, trim. That was kind of the style that used to be all along on this strip mall here. That's long gone. But this was the best place that I could find just to do a video, just to reminisce on the Eastport Centre. That this is how it looks in 2021. It's definitely not the same growing up in the 1980s, 90s, and 2000s before I moved out on my own. But this is the Eastport Centre, so I'm gonna take a break here and then move over to the Trans-Canada Centre. That place definitely has transformed, and I'll share the stories over there. So I'll see you there. Well, here I'm at the Trans-Canada Centre. This is near the block where I grew up in Marlborough Park, and even today it's definitely a lot different than it was when they redeveloped it, but it's definitely not the same place that was here when I grew up. I mean, as we're looking at one of the facades here where it says Humpty's, well, where the Humpty is right now, that used to be a Rogers Video. Definitely spent some time there playing games. But then looking down here, all this, I mean, Goodwill's there. You can see the Dollarama. There's a gym there, but all this what we're looking at right now when I was growing up, and it was up until the mid to late 1990s. This is where the Kmart used to be. I remember this Trans-Canada Centre right here actually used to be an enclosed mall. And it was, when you think about it, looking back, I mean, it was a rundown enclosed mall, but some way, maybe it's nostalgia. I thought it was a little better, but this is where the Kmart used to be. I remember it was an enclosed mall before it became a strip mall, which is all on the outside. But I also remember there used to be a post office there that we used to go to, but now, as you look around, I mean, it all has that same, facade. I mean, yeah, you got the subway there. There used to be there's still a veterinary here. Interesting how that still says the Max, because now it's all Circle K, and that Hage's Meat Market's always there. Of course, there's a liquor store behind. That's changed. But then you could see the Save on Foods. That used to be a Safeway when that was first built. I think around 1991, 1992, if I remember. That's when a lot of this redevelopment was happening. I mean, the Kmart was here up until the mid to late 1990s. Yes, Kmart used to be right here in Canada, here in Calgary. I also remember there used to be one in Brentwood, but then eventually the Hudson's Bay Company bought the leases of it, and then Kmart left Canada, but they're struggling in the US right now. I think there also were Kmart's in Australia. But that's how I remember all this used to be here. It used to be an enclosed mall, but it converted to a strip mall. I mean, now, I said that used to be a Safeway. Actually, I worked in the deli there for a couple months in summer 2001. But the other thing that I still remains the same is there's the KFC that's there. I remember the KFC always was there. Of course, it's been, rebranded and redeveloped over time. I remember it used to be just a pickup only, and it came dine-in, but that KFC always was there. This is along 52nd Street, just south of 16th Avenue. And then this part of the strip mall here, well, the only couple things that has been there, I think, since day one. Well, of course, there's got to be a Tim's, Tim Hortons, and then Mr. Schnapp's. But I remember there used to be a Joey's here, but a lot of businesses changed out. But this is another part of the strip mall. And then, of course, out here, that Esso. I always remember the Esso being there. And now it's connected to 7-Eleven. But, yeah, this is the Trans-Canada Centre. This is where I'd say of all the commercial areas in Marlborough Park, this is the one that's changed the most, for sure. I mean, I don't remember where it used to be right. I think it used to be empty before at that time when that building was built, when it was the Safeway, and then eventually Save on Foods. But I think one of the reasons why Safeway that used to be here closed was, I know that Safeway now, they got by Sobeys, and I think they closed some locations, because the closest Safeway from here now is the one at Northgate near 36th Street and Memorial Drive. I know before, when this Safeway opened, I know we went to the Co-op growing up at the Village Square Leisure Center, so I think there used to be nothing there. But yeah, all this kind of looks the same. I mean, businesses have changed. I mean, the Goodwill always means there. I remember it used to be an Ace Hardware where the medical center in Rexall is, and that didn't last long. But yeah, this is the Trans-Canada Centre around in Marlborough Park, on the corner of 52nd Street, Madigan Drive, bordering up to 16th Avenue Northeast, where the Trans-Canada Centre is. I've always lived around 16th Avenue, either here or in Pine Ridge, just north of here, or now I live right behind near 16th Avenue. So it's always been a part of my life, I guess. I guess that's where I always bound to be living, but it just worked out that way. But I got one more site to look at before I close out the Marlborough Park neighborhood. It is the St. Mark Church, which is nearby here. It's just an impressive church, an impressive building that just stands out. So I'll see you over. Well, for the last video clip, to close out my Marlborough Park vlogging on the go video, well, here I'm standing at St. Mark's Roman Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic myself, but I always lived nearby here, and I just always found that this is an impressive building. Just how it looks and just how it stands out. I mean, you kind of get the sunshine on one side, obviously with the big cross at the top there. But this is one of these landmarks that I always look at when I'm up in the Calgary Tower. And that you can actually see this church from the Calgary Tower. And it just has that, vibe. It's just how it stands out. I mean, yeah, you can see the two suns, the window, and the cross there. And then, of course, you got the rock that says St. Mark's Catholic Church. But I know that sometimes, there has been a few times I've been inside this church for a few other various, not for services, but I know that it's always busy around here. I think it's Saturday evening. I think there's always a service here, and of course, Sunday, and then during the holidays like Easter and Christmas. But I just think this is just a beautiful building that that also stands out in Marlborough Park, and this is near the block that I grew up on. That I've always seen this church. It always stands out. And in some parts of the city that you can see it, out as it is. But what do you think of this church? It's a beautiful building. I mean, I'm not. I consider myself more Christian than Orthodox, but it still doesn't stop you from, just admiring the place of worship. As I'm just trying to pick my words what to say, but yeah, this is a place of worship. But this is the St. Mark's Church. So anyways, I'd like to close out for this vlog and to go. It's been nice to look back on Marlborough Park and the community. And of course, just before I went to this church here, I saw the veterinarian, and here were a couple pictures of border collies, and very symbolic that I took a couple selfies. That one border collie looked a little happy. That must be Titan. The other one looked a little serious and stern. That was Dave. So that's why I love border collies. That was the breed I grew up with. The best dog breed, by the way. So anyways, I'll close out. As I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, the Roughnecks, Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel and recap games and stories, but I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience. Say I'm on the road or a sport event, and I've been doing this vlogging to go, and in this case, just looking back at the sights and sounds of my childhood neighborhood, how it looks right now, ending off with this church. It's a beautiful building. It's a very impressive church, and I always try to find it when I'm up in the Calgary Tower, because you can see this church right in the Calgary Tower. This is just along Madigan Drive. Like I said, this is the Trans-Canada Centre right here, but it's a beautiful building. That's all I can say. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.